Hello, I am Millennial Woes, and I was recently at I spoke at the Scandza conference in Copenhagen. I'm now in Copenhagen with the organizer of Scandza, Frodi Midjord. Hello, Frodi.
Hey there.
Hello. So, this was a very different affair from the Stockholm conference
Yes.
in late March. So, what would you like to say about this one?
Well, obviously there was somehow information got out, leaked about the location, and a crowd of Antifa showed up and basically blocked the entrance to the venue.
How many of them were there, do you think?
Well, it's very difficult to tell. I mean,
I'd say at
because
least 50.
well, it was more than that,
Yeah.
definitely. It was over 100 in total.
Right.
But we couldn't really tell because the police was obviously blocking our exit as well, so we couldn't really go out and get a proper picture of what went on. But the problem was that a couple of our speakers and a lot of our guests were unable to get into the venue. And the problem is that the police didn't really do their job.
Yes, that's how it seemed to me.
Yeah,
They could
because
easily have just cleared the Antifa away.
they should have cleared the Antifa away.
Right.
Because
So-
the thing is that what we were doing, we were having a low-profile, discreet gathering for basically a debate seminar, intellectual debate seminar. And we kept a low profile. We didn't seek out any conflict at all, but we were attacked.
Yes.
People were attacked unprovokedly. The thing is that when I brought this up with the police, that they had to clear these people away because they are terrorists. Terrorism, by definition, is the use of violence or the threat of violence for political purposes to intimidate people from expressing their political views. And
What did
the thing
police
is,
say?
yeah, the thing is that these Antifa quote-unquote protesters, as they call them, are not using freedom of speech. The police said that, well, they also have a freedom of speech.
Right.
But the thing is that they weren't using a freedom of speech to express any opinions. What they
No.
used was violence to attack people or intimidate
They
people
were wailing
and prevent
and
them.
chanting and playing loud music in order to prevent
Well,
us from having.
Well,
sensible-
that's the minor nuisance. The more serious issue is that they attacked and assaulted people who tried to get into the venue and participate in the event.
Was there actual violence? I didn't know.
Oh
that.
yeah. They assaulted people and intimidated people, so people couldn't get in.
Right.
And basically, since the police didn't do their job, you had to go through a crowd of hostile and aggressive attackers
Right.
if you wanted to get into the venue, and you can't really expect that of people.
No.
And I brought this up with the police, and they claim that they can't disperse a crowd because if you're attacked, you have to point out exactly who did what to who.
Right.
But I don't buy that, because
doesn't sound-
if a crowd of 100 people attacks someone, of course the police has the ability to scatter them.
Yes.
And to disperse that crowd, because they were blocking traffic, they were blocking the entrance to the event, and furthermore they were attacking and assaulting a person who was driving food from a catering firm
Right.
to the venue. They attacked him as well. So I'm very
This is
disappointed.
outrageous.
Yeah. It is definitely it is an assault on freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Because, like I
See,
said,
this
yeah.
is what's often said about Antifa nowadays, is that they've ceased to be any kind of constructive or benign force, and they are now just a destructive force that shuts down debate, that attacks other people and crushes any opposition to global homo, as we call it.
Well, the thing is, they've never been a benign anything. But
Yeah.
the problem.
Well, benign is not the right word. To
Well,
use, but yeah.
the problem is that there is no part of them that presents any arguments or participates in the freedom of speech that they claim to
Value, respect.
well, they claim it in their defense.
Yeah.
But they don't use that. They don't point out any arguments, or they don't participate in arguments and participate in creating debate about anything.
Well,
they want to prevent people from expressing themselves
and
through the violence or the threat of violence, and that by definition is terrorism. And
Yes.
the only purpose they have is to intimidate people from expressing their views.
Yeah.
Thus, they are a terrorist organization, and they have no legitimacy at all.
And they're a conversation stopping organization.
Yeah.
They're a debate stopping organization. But of course, they have this way out of this rationale for doing that, which is that, well, you can't allow fascism a platform. You can't allow fascists to speak, or neo-Nazis or whatever, and therefore what we're doing is right and good if we're stopping them from having from expressing themselves. But that seems very much like a defeatist mindset to me, because if people are wrong, surely you can just debate them and show how they're wrong. But Antifa don't want to do that.
Well, the whole point of having freedom of speech is that to be able to have disagreements and have debates about it. If you are beforehand gonna define what political views are acceptable, and otherwise you are allowed to use violence to stop people from expressing their views, then you don't have freedom of speech by definition. Like I told the police, and like I've told everyone, when the police claim that they don't have the authority to just scatter these people because they have a right for free assembly, is, well, they're preventing our free assembly. And if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was the other way around, that we were assaulting people trying to get into a political movement of social democrat or liberals, the police would never have a problem with scattering a meeting like that or arresting people en masse.
Yeah.
So that's just a.
And it went on for hours. I mean, they had many chances when they could have done something. It went on for ages. But like 4 or 5 hours. Maybe longer. More like 6, 7, 8 hours. But they never did. And I think that at any time they could have changed. They could have decided, okay, now we're going to clear them out. Now we're going to arrest them, whatever. But it never happened. So it's a bit disappointing, because Denmark has the reputation for being, pretty no nonsense about this kind of thing, and not terribly sympathetic to Antifa compared to Sweden, for example.
Yeah, I'm definitely disappointed in the Swedish police, in the Danish police. I would have expected more from them. I don't even think this would be allowed to go on in this fashion in Sweden.
Right.
I'm like you said, Denmark has a reputation of having a wider corridor of what's acceptable in mainstream debate. But then again, the police aids terrorists. It helps, assists in terrorism against political debate, intimidation and violence against people who participate in the political debate. They are assisted by the police in doing this.
They couldn't do with this without the police's assistance.
Yeah. So it's somewhat changes my image of the respectability of Denmark as a society today.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say about what happened yesterday's conference? I mean, do you think that you will do more conferences in Denmark? Or
of course. Yes, we will. If anything, it just shows that what we're doing is necessary and must be done more. Because if they try to intimidate people from speaking their minds, that is when you have to use your freedom of speech, use it or lose it, as an expression. And if you back down out of too much politeness, then you've given it up beforehand.
All right. Frodi, Midjord, thank you very much.
All right, good.
Well, that was me. That's Millennial Woes. The conference did go ahead, and it was broadly a success. And I think 3 or 4 speeches were given, so I'm sure they'll be going up, be published quite soon. So thank you very much.